Yeah guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for the debut of a brand new Locke series here on the channel. Now this, my friends, just so happens to be the Locke series to end all Locke series. That's right, after this Locke I'm not going to be doing another traditional Locke format here on the channel. Instead, all of the Locks are either going to be live streamed or not done at all. It's simple as that. And I decided that the greatest gimmick for the final Locke on the channel is no gimmick at all. This is just going to be your straight up traditional Locke format with a face cam for gameplay captured by the Elgato for the 360 right here. A controller so shiny that you can even see just about anything and everything reflected inside of it. But yeah, I'm going to press the A button and we're going to get into these rules without further ado. So, they are rather traditional. This is the Skylanders Giants Legendary Locke, meaning that I have all 10 legendaries from Spyro's Adventure and Giants to be taken advantage of whenever an element pops up. I must swap out for character corresponding to that element and cannot swap out again until the element of the area changes once more, no questions asked and everything. But if a Skylander is defeated in battle, the class is dead and cannot be used again. So now the question simply becomes, what difficulty are we playing on with all 10 of these characters? Well, because I hate myself, apparently, we're going to be going with Nightmare mode. Ooh. And we're also going to have cutscenes that we're just going to skip. Because, like, by the time this is out, the Igniter solo run would be either at or nearing the Giants point of the franchise, and that series will be playing out the cutscenes. So if you're really so desperate to watch cutscenes, go back and check out that series. But shameless plugs aside, that's basically what's going on. So just to recap everything, this is the beginning of the end, in other words. This is the last Locke I'm going to be conducting on the channel, and the best gimmick for it is no gimmick at all. You know, I've had gimmicks for my Locks up until this point. We had the colours inverted for the Trap Team Core version Locke. We went all black and white with the Noir Locke from Superchargers, and then we also had the Brightness Light Core Locke from Swap Force, where, you know, of course, background brightened up as new light cores were placed onto the portal. And speaking of placing characters onto the portal, this level is literally called Time of the Giants. So I don't think there's a more appropriate character to be playing throughout the entirety of this level than a giant. So since Bouncer is our only legendary giant, that's exactly who is going to be tackling this entire level. And what do you know? There's even a Sapphire here with a freeze frame just for good measure. And what do these things do? Well, not even the game knows. They're going to tell us about them later. But if you played Spyro's Adventure, of course, you already know. And when I booted up Giants the first time, of course, I had played Spyro's Adventure, so I knew already. Anyway, there's a giant boulder here, and what's great about Giants is that they can, you know, pick up a boulder. And the best thing about picking up boulders is for mashing on them. You know, forget the actual, you know, capabilities of lifting up a boulder. For true fun lies in the button mash, and I can't emphasize this enough. Well, technically I can, I'm just not. Either way, I'm, you know, getting my Xbox controller all mixed up. I press the Y button and all of a sudden I'm pressing the X button because, you know, in comparison to the Nintendo Switch controls, it's the complete opposite way rounds. Hence the confusion. Where else would the confusion be coming from? The fact that I rarely boot up the 360. Exactly. Now that I'm thinking about it, even that's exactly what's going on, I suppose. Otherwise, plenty of turtles to push and even treasures to be acquiring. So what we're going to be doing with this series is that this debut episode is going to have 3 levels in it. Then we're going to have 2 levels in every single episode leading up to the grand finale, which is going to have the Archean trilogy involved. That's right, Lost City of Arcus, Auto Gyro Adventure, not in that order mind you, and Bringing Order to Chaos are all going to be part of one grand Archean trilogy finale. You know, give this Locke the glorious end that it deserves, and by extent the entirety of the idea of Locke series on the channel, the glorious ending that they deserve, mind you. So yes, I'm definitely pumped for this. This is actually a Locke that I attempted years back on the channel. We're talking 3 or so odd years at this point, to where I failed horribly. We lost all of the characters come the end of Velocity of Arcus, so naturally I'm here to try and beat my own record, perform of course more Geronimos once the game wants to, you know, let me, that is. I suppose asking to do a Geronimo is too much to ask for. Anyway, that's all been said and done with that original Legendary Locke series can actually be found on my archival channel because I archive this. So yeah, you guys can go check that out. Spoiler alert, I don't win it, as I talked about previously. So this right here is my redemption. You go as far as to say, I want to see if I'm capable of beating this Locke the second time round. Bring it on, Giants. You don't stand a chance. But yeah, after this series I'm going to be working on all sorts of different gameplay stuff, and speaking of this series as well, it's going to be weekly, just like the Light Core Brightness Lock is going to be coming out every single Monday. Anyway, we have a Jouster right here who I just really want to blow up, so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing with him. Goodbye, my friend, even though he's not my friend, so I suppose that was a lie. Anyway, there are all sorts of perks we can find throughout Giants. There's Oryx Shop, where we can get stuff like Lookotron bulbs, and then we can also acquire Lookotron wheels throughout the levels and take advantage of those, as well as, you know, charms and power-ups from Oryx Shop. And since that's all an intricate part of the game, we are going to be purchasing those as they pop up. You know, it's not to the same caliber as magic items, where magic items I would consider a cheat, but these items, again, because they are a part of the game, I treat them much less so like it. Well, not a locked part of the game, you could say. You know, any character, as long as they have the appropriate gold count, can purchase these charms and power-ups, but, you know, magic items, they're an external force to ease combat in order to, you know, help you out for the sake of spending real money on the adventure packs that they come with. They're two completely different experiences, in other words, and I'm basically just trying to justify at this point, taking advantage of Oryx Shod? Shod? What's a Shod? What I meant to say was Shop. This is definitely the episode of misspeaking thus far. But yeah, this is definitely going to be quite the series. This entire premiere, its purpose is basically to pump you up for the entirety of the series. Are you not pumped up? I'm just pumping up Brock at this point. No, Brock is the excellent person to pump you up for things, and I'm pumping up the person who pumps you up. Because man, Brock, he's quite the guy, isn't he? You know, he's got quite the charm, charisma, you can go as far to saying he's one of the few NPCs in Skylanders that has somewhat of a redemption arc almost. You know, he's out here creating an arena rumble club for Skylanders rather than fighting against them like he did in Rumble Town. He was only out to entertain. What can you blame him? He's an entertainer trying to entertain. It's a difficult business. Can you really blame him? You know, those of you who think Brock was in the wrong for just wanting to be liked and give the people a show, you know, those of you thinking that, you are just wrong. End of story. You know, as Brock puts it, that answer to whether he's right or wrong or whatnot, anything other than him being right, is the wrong answer. Anyway, we now have lasers to watch out for. But you know what? This guy has lasers. I have lasers too! And unfortunately, I can't use them to much advantage right now because I need to wait for his eye lasers to finish doing the eye laser thing. But still, you know, two can play that game, my friend. Oh wait, all of these characters are actually leveled up. Imagine that. Ignite actually been prepared for a lot for once, and by prepared I mean they're all leveled up except one, which is Legendary Jetpack. You know, I got to level 14, got too bored of playing as him, so we're just gonna let him level up throughout the series. You know, he's very, very close, so it's not gonna take much effort to get him up there, and he'll be level 15 come the end of the Troll Home Security level, because that has a pretty big air elemental area with loads of enemies for him to beat up. And more importantly, a power-up right beforehand, which he's no doubt going to need. This is Jetpack we're talking about here. But yeah, we're going to be collecting Lookotron bulbs and power-ups and charms from Oryx. It's just going to be an absolute blast, going out of my way to do things in this game to, you know, aid the experience and just make it more fulfilling than that of my other locks I've done thus far, where I'd simply just play the game and not much else. Wait, I can't wait to destroy, because we are now in Junkyard Isles without any sort of context because we skipped the cutscenes. But again, there are other series for the cutscenes if you are really that desperate to watch the cutscenes, mind you. Oh wait, here we go. We can just roll over these guys. Let's bring in the eye lasers. Eye lasers force a win. Can't go wrong with eye lasers now, can you? You can't go wrong with rocket hands either. Boom, baby. Another fact is finger pellets are enough to just blast straight through those things. You know, you'd think a tiny little 7 damage finger pellet, you know, if you'd think if that was able to destroy a wall, then just about anything in this game could, but you'd be wrong. Despite the fact that they're not nearly as fast as powerful, nearly as fast nor as powerful as other attacks, even from other Skylanders. you know, all things considered, and yet still they destroy the walls all the same. It would make more sense for us rockets to destroy walls. Now they look like they pack a punch, man. You. Either way, here comes Eon explaining the oh-de-da-de-das of elemental buffs in certain areas where he must place a Skylander corresponding to that element. Even, my apologies for stuttering right here, but putting all the stuttering aside, that means that we now have Series 1 Legendary Chop Chop to deal with these enemies with, as the element of the area is currently undead, and Legendary Chop Chop is our undead representative. We're going to be seeing a lot of him because there's a lot of undead and life elements throughout this game, mostly because in the game starter pack there's T-Rex, Cinder and Jetpack. Those are those characters' free elements, and whenever, you know, you're given a certain element trio in Skylanders, in a Skylander starter pack even, it tends to be that they like pushing you to utilise those elements, even though you think they would, you know, make them the least most abundant elements in the game, so that then it motivates you more to pick up some of the other elemental characters, but hey, that's not what they did. Either way, here we go with more pressing of the skip button, aka the best button in the video game, mind you. So here's a Persephone's cabin. I'm kidding, I know it's Persephone, I just say it to trigger all of you, because it's pretty funny, let's be honest, purposely mispronouncing a name like that. So now that I can finally continue, thanks to the might of the best button in the video game, the skip button, I actually have to look at my controls to find that button there, regardless, now that's all been said and done with, we can continue on with the level at long last. Man, this Legendary Locke is going to be so glorious, I can't wait. Oh boy, we have a Bark Demon, prepare to hate those guys, because boy, do I hate those guys. I hate them so much. Who don't hate on the other hand is Crash of Skylanders' favourite Skylander, and I feel that I should say that, because otherwise I'm going to be receiving a lot of hate, especially from him in of himself. But regardless, Crash of Skylanders' favourite character is coming in right now, and it's going to be Bash with the double tail swipe for good measure. Okay. Boom, baby, look at that damage right there. You know, it's so easy to see why Bash is so beloved by Crash for Skylanders himself, because he can be such a beast. You know, he racks up damage so easily, and on top of that, he definitely has his speed going for him. Like this roll right here, it's got high speed and it's incredibly maneuverable, so therefore, you know, it makes him for the perfect character for just about any situation. You know, you can speed through levels with him, you can maintain your distance with him thanks to the might of this projectile attack of his right here. You know, when enemies are stationary and can't hit back, you have that powerful tail swing, which is going to, you know, deal huge chunks of damage like that right there. You know, that guy never saw it coming. Now what we could be doing right here is swapping out for a giant. That goes against a lot of rules because there isn't such a thing as a legendary giant of the earth element. So instead we're going to have to blow up these walls without the help of a giant, and instead leave it up to solely none other than legendary Bash right here. For most blue of all the legendaries by miles, like I understand that the legendary colour palette is kind of like a mixture between very, 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 very dark blue and black. But of all the blues, this guy is the most blue. He has the blues, you could go as far as saying, which I'm pretty sure is the name of a band, you know. And you can't say that's not, you know, a fitting statement to be stating, because this cast of characters right here, kind of like a band. You know, a bit like with Beatles, a bit like a bit of Doombug thrown in there, because he is a Beatle. But yeah, this is our Reg-Tag team band of awesome legendary characters. That's what this is right here. It's one legendary band. Oh boy, that rock had some, that roll even had some interesting physics to it. I suppose it's because of the rock that got him away. You know, that's where all my stuttering is coming from, I suppose. My brain is just turning into jelly right now. Not there's anything wrong with jelly, so a really good bit of jelly. Bye bye! Man, this guy is such a beast. Ouch, I should probably get hit much less though. That sounds like a good plan. But this is just proof of how brutal Nightmare Mode can be from time to time. Goodbye! And that guy jumped out just in time for a tail strike. Do I feel sorry for him? No, I do not. Anyway, next up comes the life element. As I said earlier, the game's going to be pushing that a lot, which means you are going to be seeing a lot of legendary Stealth Elf. A character which, in my original run through of this lock on the archival channel, I lost halfway through the series. And by lost, I don't mean she was defeated in battle, I mean I literally lost her toy. So naturally what I wound up doing was performing a sacrifice. I got rid of her and brought in Legendary Spyro instead, and man, this episode is just all about spoiling that original series now, isn't it? I'll be very happy if any of you became interested enough throughout this to find out, you know, just what a failure looks like in the form of that original Legendary Locke that I did. But yeah, because I can't be bothered to do math right now, I can't figure out whether this is going to be 6 episodes or 7 episodes long. I think it's supposed to be 6 because we're doing like 3 levels per episode, then a bunch of 2 levels per episode, and then we're back to 3 levels per episode again. You know, it's going to be nuts. Goodbye. But yeah, this game is actually one of the most fun to lock. It's the only Skylanders game that has a combination of both no jumping as well as a nightmare mode. You know, as far as I mentioned, it didn't even have difficulty settings, let alone a nightmare mode, and that's the only other Skylanders game that has the lack of a jump button. So naturally it's a very interesting experience, especially for nightmare mode, where it's harder to avoid enemy attacks because you can't jump. So instead you actually have to, you know, be good at the video game. So here we go, some more. Unlocking that door right there, bringing in Stealth of Speed, and also there's some stuff from the store from Orc right here. What do we have? We have some hats, a Goofy hat, a Plunger hat, and a Cowboy hat. We're not going to be buying a single one of them because I don't think they're the most useful hats, even though I did accidentally press the Y button to do her speed attack, because in games past this one, this is a special attack button rather than this, so that's where that confusion came from. So naturally, playing with an Xbox 360 controller, I not only have to deal with the confusion that is the mixed up control pattern in comparison to that of the Nintendo Switch, but on top of all that, I also need to deal with the fact that the controls are different in that of Swap Force onwards, which are my most played Skylanders games. I don't play Skylanders Adventure Giants nearly as much as I do the other 4. So yeah, it's just layers upon layers of trouble I'm going to be having with the controls here, if you go as far to say. Hopefully it won't scream, you know. I probably should have mashed much harder, and I probably could have took less damage, but never mind about that. Okay. Got to really finish off these guys right now and get hit much less again. Like, if I'm going to give advice, I might as well heed my own advice while I'm at it. Yeah, I keep on doing that rather than the shoulder rocket by total accident. It was an accident because clearly what I'm doing right now seems to be working out. But yeah, we've got to be very careful with Bouncer, even considering his huge hitbox and how much damage you take from a single enemy attack in this game. You know, it's going to be far too easy for him to be killed off earlier on in comparison to other characters that can dodge attacks a lot with a lot more ease, mind you. So yeah, don't be surprised when Bouncer winds up being our first death. I will try my hardest to avoid it, but there is no promises. After all, asking me to be good at the video game, no, that's just asking too much. Okay, let's be pushing these guys out of the way at The Last Stand, the name of a really bad X-Men movie. I mean, not as bad as Dark Phoenix, mind you, because that film was bad, but still a bad one, all the same. Anyway, how you guys liking my hair right now? It's going all over the place. It's going to be bizarre. I'm recording this in bulk, considering, you know, this series is going to end all the way in June. This starts in June. It finishes in July, which is mad because I'm recording this at the beginning of May. Can't wait for how dated some of my references are going to become. You know, 2 months is a long time. And, you know, the updates on my sub counts, like as of recording this video, I'm at 1.2k subs. I have no idea how mad my sub count is going to be in a few months' time. No clue whatsoever. So, in advance, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. It's, you know, been a really booming community recently, and I really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. What I also appreciate is this. For Lucky Wheel of Health, we're definitely going to be applying that the moment we can, because, you know, last minute food coming in clutch is always a fantastic sight to be seen. You can't go wrong with a better chance at healing up your characters, especially since we want to keep that health bar as high as possible. It getting to 0 is a big no-go. That means the Skylander will be defeated, and therefore they will die and not be able to be used throughout the remainder of the lock, mind you. But yeah, it's time to be skipping cutscenes once again, and then we can head out for Cutthroat Carnival. Actually, no, that's the 4th level. I lied. It's actually Rumble Town that we're going to be heading out for next. Man, my knowledge of this game right now, it's just through the roof quite clearly. What else can I say, right? So here we go with Captain Flintship. as we skip more cutscenes. Alright, I don't care what you have to say. We'll check out his shop later. For now, I just can't be asked to have to deal with the lock puzzle, because lock puzzles suck. What I can't be bothered to deal with right now is applying this health Lookotron wheel as I said I would. Now, Rumbletown has a Lookotron wheel for power, I think. Power and health are the only ones we want, because power increases your chance of getting a critical hit. That's important, you know, dealing more damage, so it's getting more Wind Sapphires, not everything about it. So let's be, you know, attuning this here Wind Sapphire while we're at it. Yeah, those are the most important, because the critical hit could be the difference between defeating an enemy earlier and them, therefore, not being able to hit you. Take a Bash, for example. You know, if he critical hits, then that deals an extra 40 damage. That way, you know, that 40 damage being the difference between defeating an enemy or not, between the different cycles of Bash's attack patterns, he could get hit, and that could wind up getting him defeated. So therefore, that critical hit is ultimately what granted him the victory over his opponent, and it's what allowed him to continue living and breathing throughout the remainder of the lot, mind you. Yeah, that's the difference right there. Because, yeah, say, imagine that, you do a regular tail strike, it does 80 damage, it doesn't quite defeat the enemy. If it did 120 damage, it would have defeated the enemy, but because it didn't, the enemy was able to attack Bash with those extra frames that were still left alive, and Bash died because of it. Crash would be heartbroken, wouldn't want to do that to Demigod Schmurder's best friend. Because for those of you who are unaware of memes, basically, Crash Razzle is memeingly Crash Razzle's best friend, or, you know, vice versa. Regardless, we now have the air element popping up, so it's time to bring in a Agility Jetpack. Yeah, I love how short these levels can be, you know, we're barely a few minutes in, and by a few I mean 22 minutes in, and we're already at the third level over here. Oh, I should probably not do that, and I should probably do the attack that I meant to do, which involved him literally sucking him in right now. So let's pick up all that gold, and now we're heading to Tobide's Ascent. Oh boy, we can defeat that guy with the power of, you know, powerful wind apparently. There you go, that's what we like to see. And we can even, you know, fly as well to gain some extra speed around here. And then the best thing about Jetpack, those of you who don't know, is that when he runs out of air, you can just suck back up in order to refill the gauge a whole lot more quickly. These guys, they're all going down, is what they're doing. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to push these blocks into place. I like the fact that in this game you can push multiple blocks at once and you don't have to be a giant to do it. You know, in Spice Adventure you could only push like a single block at once, but now you can push stacked blocks just fine as any Skylander. You know, as I said, core, giant, it don't matter. Either way you can do it, and what else we can do either way is we can head into this cave right here. I can't even remember what's in here. The Lookotron wheel, yes, it was a good call coming in here. A boom, baby. So let's grab that Lookotron wheel without further ado. Yeah, it's one for power, which I literally just said earlier, that the importance of these wheels cannot be understated, so I therefore shall continue to not understate their importance. Okay, here we go, back to Tobide's Ascent, I suppose. Now you guys might consider it cheating for Lookotron wheels. I don't care. Whether you do or do not, I just simply don't care, as I burp away just to demonstrate how much a lack of care I give. Ouch. I do care about being hit in the face though, that's not very pleasant. Luckily for us, that's what we got the Mega Blast for. And the ironic part is that Jetpack still sucks. In fact, he sucks no matter what. No matter what you say about this guy, it is a fact that he sucks. It is his literal secondary attack option at the end of the day. So yeah, we're going to push this out of the way so that then we can push this block down. Actually, let's get these out of the way whilst we're up here. Woof, and not get hit by that fire arrow at the last minute. Yeah, into the cave we go. I believe this is going to give us plenty of opportunities to charge up some powerful blasts. Not that we're going to need it, because the magic element's popping up soon, which is going to give us the opportunity to get away from Jetpack already. Get this guy off my screen. Anyway, we now have some treasures to be acquired. Sweet. Yeah, go them guys, some more. Can't go wrong with that. Oh, and a watermelon, can't go wrong with that either. Yeah, there you go. Jolly good. Yeah, let's suck on that last guy. Yeah, you can always tell when you have a super power blast charged up because the bottom of Jetpack's vacuum has a red light to it. So yeah, here we go. There's even some food over there. Not that we need it, we're just going to grab it anyway. Goodbye! Okay, so here's one thing we can do. We can just stay back here and defeat these enemies with the bomb from opening before we actually approach them, that is. So yeah, just like that, you know. Again, you can call it cheating, you can call it whatever the hell you want. I call it decent strategy. And when I have a decent strategy that I can cheese the game with, why the heck would I not take advantage of said strategy? Boom! Anyway, time to bring in none other than Spyro himself, as magic helmets popped up, as I alluded to earlier. This guy's definitely going to be one of our longest surviving Skylanders. He's very good considering that he is as ranged as he is, and he can fire off 3 fireballs at once, which is great for crowd control. Like, look at all this damage right here that's being dealt to all these enemies simultaneously as I continue to itch my face and grab a nice little prick right there for all I'm on for do. Boom! Head pound, or you know, we could just miss alternatively, I suppose. There you go. We're getting some successful head poundage in right now. Like to see it, we do. I like to see it even more when it actually hits. There you go, just like that. Boom. There goes that guy. Now we can continue on with the rest of the level as we proceed to skip the unnecessary cutscenes. You know, we use the best bit of a video game to get that deep stew out of here. Nothing wrong with all that now, is there? Anyway, here we go. Bye bye, birdie. I just kind of rammed into it and I have no regrets. Haha. I'm not evil, you're evil. Don't know what you've done to make you evil exactly, but you're evil all the same, so deal with it. In the words of Mighty Tough Luck. Speaking of tough luck, it sure is just tough luck what happened to them enemies, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's faster to charge for this character than it is to fly, so I might as well just charge. May as well. Okay, here we go. You know, these guys could be a problem if it weren't for the fact that I can defeat them, no problem. Okay, here we go, take out the last spell put. That is the biggest nuisance of all the nuisances, which is really saying something considering that every nuisance here is pretty big. There you go, finish them off with a charged up blast. Which is actually maintained as you go into fight with Spyro as well, so that's very convenient, mind you. Anyway, let's be placing Jetpack onto the portal once again. He's not going to be on here long, but he's going to be on here all the same. Now, he hasn't actually saved his powerful blasts, so whenever you have powerful blasts left over and you take Jetpack off a portal, it all resets. It's rather quite unfortunate, really. You know, those super blasts will be very powerful right now, or very useful as well as very powerful, but the game, you know, it just said no, so whatever the game says goes, I suppose. Luckily for us, those guys weren't a problem whatsoever. Anyway, I hope you guys aren't getting too attached to Jetpack right here, because I guarantee you it's not going to last. As the bridge comes falling down. I didn't know that was London Bridge right now. Either way, it's very strange because the undead area hasn't actually activated. Normally there's an undead elemental buff here, rather than an air one. It just hasn't seemed to activate. I suppose it's like for Secret Source of Supreme Stink from Trap Team, where you actually have to go into a specific area in order to activate the elemental buff, because in Secret Source of Supreme Stink, the magic elemental buff doesn't activate until you hit a specific part of the stage that is pretty easily avoidable. And apparently the same can be said for Giants. I didn't realise it was this easy to avoid for undead elemental buff, so I suppose we'll stick with Jetpack. I'd rather play with Jetpack over Chop Chop purely because this guy has a lot more range. Not that I dislike Chop Chop. In fact, if anything, I like Chop Chop more than Jetpack. He's a lot more fun and he has a better design. But, again, I'm going to cheese the heck out of this. I'm going to do something I'm not supposed to do and tackle this area with air being more powerful rather than undead. And we're going to roll with a really powerful projectiles right here is what we're going to do. Sweet. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that now, can you? Goodbye. Yeah, sweet, we got them fools right there. Now we're going to hook up this guy too while we're at it. Haha, nice. Sweet, with the first episode in, we've already had plenty of cheese to go around. Oh boy, I love me some cheese. Anyway, Oryx shop doesn't have anything of importance, I don't think, so we're just not even going to bother, you know, checking it out. After all, for one from the previous level did disappoint me that little bit, so I just don't have enough trust placed in Oryx for all that. I just don't. Okay, here go all these fools right now. Yeah, my apologies, Chop Chop fans. Although not really, I couldn't care less whether your character does get the playtime he deserves or whatnot. The only character I care less about how much playtime they get is Igniter. He's the best character in the entirety of this band. He's basically like the equivalent of a lead singer, the only one that anybody actually cares about. so yeah. You know, Igniter is the lead singer of our band because he's going to be an absolute beast. He is broken, he is fun. I'm good with him because he's my favourite character, and checking out how many hours of playtime I have with him is something I should not do because I think I'll just make the universe spontaneously combust having that knowledge. You know, I'm pretty sure my hours playtime accumulated on Igniter is more than is a longer playtime than the existence of the universe. I know, a great joke that one, I told it perfectly, you know, it's all in the execution, that's where my most laughs come from. Okay, here we go, bye bye. I love the fact that just a gush of wind comes in and pushes them off, and just like that, they are done for, they are defeated. Goodbye, oh, never mind, not goodbye, I take it back, this guy's still alive, it's big sad. Oh, I'm falling off however. Yeah, those guys, they are shielding the life spell point right now, and I do not much like that. Luckily for me, I have the fire to take advantage of. You know, ignite that guy on fire, I did, even though that makes no grammatical sense, but we're going to just stick with it. All the same. Okay, there goes these fools. Ouch. Yeah, I should probably do that much less. Getting hit, I mean. Oh, boom, luckily for us, that's what we got the charged up shot for. Nice. So yeah, now I just have Brock to defeat, you know, how challenging could that be? Move, or be moved. That reminds me of Captain America Civil War, one of the iconic lines of the movie, that one. Move, or be moved.
Thought the Skylander would make the crowd happy. Was that wrong? I don't think it is.
Either way, no wrong answers put to one side. We have won the arena, located the helmet. Helmet? I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. We've also acquired the Lookatron wheel. So yeah, let's head on up to Captain Flynn's ship right here. Oh, yay, more cutscenes to skip. I can't wait. I love skipping these cutscenes. This is my favourite thing to do, guys. My favourite thing. Anyway, we're going to go and speak to Warwick now because he has for us... the whole idea of this was so I could avoid the lock puzzle, but, you know, dread it, run from it. Destiny arrived, all the same. And my destiny was having to complete this lock puzzle. Regardless, once we've done that, we can speak to Warwick, get ourselves a charm, and an extra Lookatron bulb so we can, you know, take advantage of that secondary power Lookatron wheel that we just acquired from the previous level, mind you. Here he is, the man himself. Let's enter the store without further ado. I'll be grabbing you, thank you very much. And I will... I thought there was a charm here. A charm for helping giants, you know, perform their feat of strengths more quickly. But apparently I was wrong. So instead we're just going to pick up the lock puzzle key because, you know, lock puzzles are a waste of time. And that makes them much less so a waste of time. Either way, let's swap out these characters because in the end we're just going to wind up back to where we started. That being Jetpack, because the final elemental door to slash down is of the air element, and Jetpack, that's his element all the same. So now we got to slash it down with Stealth Elf, and now we get to finish it off with Jetpack, drawing a full circle as we, you know, get to claim the gold of a character who spent the gold on the first place. Like, he bought the Lockatron ball. He deserves this, fellas. So, you know, we've picked that up even. Let's go take advantage of not only the secondary Lockatron ball, but for secondary Lockatron wheel, as Jetpack just gets suspended in midair right there. And we get some nice junky camera angle changes just for good measure. Yep, there you go. Boom, baby. Just like that. That's been sorted out. Oh, whoops, I accidentally pressed that too many times because once again, I went to go press that for special attack and it was this button the entire time. Anyway, this is definitely an appropriate place to end off this here video at long last. We've had enough of charms that I thought we could buy, but we couldn't actually buy because once again my game knowledge isn't as through the roof as I would have wanted it to be. So with all of that put to one side, thank you all so much for checking out the debut episode of the Skylanders Giants Legendary Locke, and until the next episode arises, peace.